Did you know that your mind and your thoughts are incredibly powerful? I'm not a scientist, so I may not be explaining this in the way academics would, but when you think about it, everything in the universe is made up of energy, including us, essentially millions of atoms vibrating at different frequencies. With every thought and intention that we feel, there is an energetic knock on effect. So I'll get into this deeper in a moment, but first, the average person has roughly 70,000 thoughts a day, and 90% of them are repetitive programmed thoughts. So the more we think or hear something, the more we believe it. And when we believe it and feel it, then it becomes our truth. So out of those 70,000 thoughts that you have per day, how many of them do you think are negative? How many of them are judging yourself or judging others? How many of them are you actually even conscious of? So, when you think, feel, and act from a loving place or from a place of pain, that energy vibration is felt by others around you, whether you realize it or not. I'm sure you would have experienced situations in your life where you've walked into a room and someone is in a dark place and you feel that sudden heaviness hit you. Or on the flip side, times where you've been feeling really crappy and someone walks in all glowing of sunshine and all of a sudden you feel that shift, right? So we have the power to affect others without even saying anything. So if that's possible, which it clearly is, and most people tend to agree, then it's not much of a stretch to suggest that your thoughts are also sending an energetic response to your physical body, including all of your body systems, such as muscular, endocrine, cardiovascular, respiratory, digestive, nervous system, etc. So science has proven that the quality of your mental health affects your physical body. If your thoughts, feelings, and perceptions are not aligned with a loving vibration, then you're giving them the power to make you physically ill. So, stress is one of the reactions to your thoughts and perceptions, and it's one of the main causes for disease in the body. And this isn't new information, but let's look at the flip side. It also means that our mindset can heal us. If this is a radical notion to you, think of the placebo effect. It's been proven that if someone truly believes they're going to be healed or they're being treated to be healed, then the body has the ability to respond and give them that reality. I mean, how incredible is that? You have the power to heal yourself. And there's a book written by a woman called Anita Morjani who had stage 4 cancer and basically died from it. She had her NDE, near death experience, and came back into her body. And because she remembered everything she experienced on the other side, she realized how incredible we were and how limitless we actually were. And through that belief that she was magnificent, she loved herself so much, and basically let go of all fear and all this negativity that she had been holding on to when she had the cancer, then her cancer actually healed within weeks and it freaked out the medical world. And this is all fact. Like you can actually see the information about this, and it just blew my mind. So her book, I highly recommend reading it. It just opens up a whole new world and perspective of what's possible. So going back to what I was saying before, when you tell yourself that you can't do something because of this or that reason, or that something is never going to happen, or it isn't possible, or if you hate something about your body, or you judge someone else for whatever reason, the list goes on. What do you think that is doing from an energetic perspective? So you're literally imprinting that truth into the structural makeup of who you are. You're programming that into your automatic thought process. So if you believe you can't do something, then more often than not, you won't be able to. So if you believe something negative about someone else, how could they ever change in your eyes? You're not even giving them the chance. So if you hate an injury or an illness you may have, do you think that that energy you're sending it is going to be speeding up the healing process or slowing it down? So limiting beliefs turn off the miracle making machine that is available to you. And by the law of attraction and the law of intention, you attract the same energy into your life that you are vibrating on. If you give love, you receive love. If you give hate, you receive hate. Pretty simple. I mean, we're not always meant to be happy. It's part of that, the duality of the human experience is we're here to experience every emotion, and to be able to use the negative ones to help grow as people, so as a human consciousness. So I'm not trying to say that through this law of intention and attraction that we're meant to be perfect all the time because we're not. However, being on a high vibration is going to put you in a much better flow state, is going to attract so much abundance into your life, whatever it is that you're focusing on. But also to note, being on a high vibration doesn't mean that bad things won't happen to you, because bad things do happen. I've done a little audio clip on this separately as well that you can have a listen to. So I'm not going to go into that here. If someone is going to come at you with hate and you respond with hate, what happens? It intensifies for both parties. If you respond with love, what do you think happens? It diffuses their hateful energy. So to get out of darkness, we need to turn on the light. So, side note, it doesn't mean that we allow other people to behave in hurtful ways and let yourself become a doormat. But with this self-healing in this lifetime of practice, you can get to a place where you can express how you feel and what you will and won't accept in your life without reacting with more pain, more blame, more judgment. So you will be able to see their innocence and see that they're operating from a place of pain. So you'll be able to handle those situations with love instead of attack. Those that attack are the people that need love more than anything. And you have the power to create a shift, especially when it's directed at you. If it is you, however, that's the one expressing an emotion that is causing you to lash out, with practice, like training and strengthening a muscle, you will be able to identify what is triggered within you and stop the reaction before it gets out of hand. Bringing attention to the emotion within your physical body instead of losing yourself within your monkey mind will take away its power. Awareness and taking ownership of the trigger will lead to self-healing. So triggers are divine signs to show us what we need to heal within ourselves. And every relationship and situation in our lives are divine spiritual assignments to learn from and grow as a soul, especially the difficult ones. And when we don't learn from these situations, then they keep revisiting us until we do, if we ever do. So we have the freedom of choice. We can choose fear or we can choose love. Fear is familiar, and more often than not, it's a choice we make automatically and unconsciously. But once you open up your awareness, you're able to see more clearly that you have an alternative choice. If you're not ready to face what is within you, that's okay. But when you are, the magic really happens. Not surprisingly, the more healed you are within, the less we're triggered, and the better our relationships and our lives get overall, which is super awesome. So coming back to the different vibrations linked to emotions, thoughts, and actions, this energy exchange also means that you can create your own reality. And once you realize how powerful you are, you can begin to manifest the life that you dreamed of. But first, you have to believe that anything is possible, and you have to let go of those limiting beliefs you've put on yourself and your life. So manifesting needs another whole explanation on its own to go into depth. But in short, what you believe is true, what you feel deep down that you already have, what you are grateful for, what you give, and what you are, you will be able to attract. However, it's not simply a matter of just thinking, I want a BMW by tomorrow. We don't get to control the timeline and we don't get to control the exact details of the outcome. We just have to trust. It's more along the lines of knowing deep down and feeling within your body that you already have what you desire and saying to the universe, thank you for this abundance of wealth, health, and love that is in my life, for example. And you can go into a lot more detail as to what that looks like. But then the universe begins to flow the energetic response of that feeling to bring it into your physical reality. You can't manifest from a place of lack. So places like, I need this to be happy, or this really needs to work right now because I'm not going to be able to pay my bills next week, or from a place of lack. You have to feel it in your body that you are already exactly where you want to be, and just trust that the universe will provide. There is so much more to it, but also being open and actually looking to how you are at receiving. Are you good at receiving compliments? Are you good at receiving gifts? If this is an area that makes you uncomfortable, then that's something you'll need to look into as well to be able to attract what you want into your life. But releasing attachment to the outcome of your manifesting, or anything in life, your goals. It's great to have goals, but being too attached to the outcome is like putting an energetic stopper in the way. It really stops the flow. So we have to release that attachment. I know it's a bit of a paradox, all of this. It's very confusing. However, you can there may be a lot of inner resistance to a mantra like this to begin with, like a mantra along the lines of, especially if you're struggling with finances and you're trying to tell yourself that you are abundant and you have everything you need. There can be a lot of resistance to this mantra because of reality doesn't match up with what you're trying to manifest. But as mentioned earlier, the more you think something, the more you visualize it, set intentions to feel it in the body, then the more it becomes your truth. And honestly, just trust. Start off with something small that you can manifest into your life. And once you see what is possible, it'll just snowball from there. So you can decide what the 10% of new thoughts a day are going to be, which means you can rewire and reprogram the neural pathways in your brain to make these affirmations and positive, loving messages to become the automatic 90% of you. So I find that constantly reading books and listening to podcasts from spiritual leaders that I resonate with, instead of watching normal TV all the time that is full of drama and negativity, it's when you invest that time instead into things that is worth voluntarily brainwashing yourself, then it's for the better, because the more you learn, the more you create more neural pathways, and the more those pathways get solidified and strong, then the more you can make a shift, the more you believe, the more serendipities you start to notice, all these other things. So the more my brain is full of these loving messages and information, the more it becomes my truth and the better I feel. And it's had such a huge impact on my mindset and in turn my overall quality of life. So a little bit of history of me. I came from a past where I grew up with an alcoholic father, a separated family from the age of 9. I was bullied pretty badly at school. I experimented a lot with drugs in my teenage years to escape reality. I ended up chronically depressed and medicated in my 20s, where I was addicted to drama and addicted to being the victim. I absolutely hated myself, and I thought the world was going to be better off without me. I used to joke that I had a thought process that needed traffic lights installed to try and control the chaos in my head, because there was just nonstop collisions all over the place. But now I can say, after many years of self-healing work, I can say that I love myself. I love my body. I love who I am. I absolutely love my life. Everything so far that I've wanted to manifest, I have manifested, and I'm continuing to do so. So I can finally achieve minutes at a time with no thoughts when I meditate, which is the most incredible feeling. And more than at least half the time now, I'm present enough that I can catch emotions, I can catch thoughts, words, and actions that do not serve me before they do damage. Or if I do happen to react, because I'm not perfect, I very quickly can reflect on that and turn it around afterwards and learn from it. So I still have a long way to go on my journey, especially when it comes to parenting. But I can honestly say that what I'm talking about today, I've actually experienced in my life, and I stand by it 100%. It really works. It's real. But don't just take my word for it. You need to experience it for yourself. It's not my place to tell you to change or that my way is the only way. So please just take from this what resonates with you. My next question would be, if you were not limited by anything, what would your life look like? What do you really want? How would it feel to live a life like that? Put these sort of questions to the test. Try practicing feeling it to be true deep down in your soul, and just watch what kind of magic can unfold. However, as I mentioned, release the attachment to specific outcome and specific timeline, because the universe will give you exactly what you need. With anything in life, when we try to control something or someone, it creates an opposing force and very rarely ends up how we want it to. So don't stress about the details either. You can be specific in what you want, but how we get to that place, just trust that the universe will figure it all out for you and just go with the flow, enjoy the ride. Keep an eye out for those universal signs and synchronicities and follow what fires you up, your joy, your passionate drive. Focus on how you can serve in this lifetime, like how you can bring joy to other people's lives and give back to make this world a better place. And just be grateful for every tiny miracle along the way. One important rule to mention though is that whatever you desire to manifest cannot be something that would cause someone else harm. That creates duality of energies, and manifesting is only powered by loving high vibrations, not low vibrations. Now, that's a lot of information to digest so far. If you're still with me, you're probably thinking, well, sounds very interesting, but where the hell do I start? So, how do we reprogram your 90% of automatic thinking? How do we actually self heal? So, the first step of self healing and unlearning damaging habitual thought processes, like personal growth and awakening to the infinite possibilities that are available to you in this lifetime, it's bringing awareness to your thoughts and the stories you tell yourself and the words you say to others. This automatic thinking has been programmed into us from a very young age to the point that we become so identified with those stories. We're afraid to let them go because who are we then and what is our reality? And most of the time, we don't even realize we're thinking and what we're thinking at all anyway. We're very rarely present in each moment. We usually are always thinking about the past and future instead. I mean, even when we're having a conversation with someone, we're not usually listening to every word and absorbing every word they're saying. We're usually thinking about what we want to say next, right? Have you felt that? So we need to become present as often as possible. But how? Our body doesn't know the difference between thinking about trauma or something that stressed us out and actually being in the moment and living it. So whenever we constantly go over and over these things that happen to us, we're spiking our nervous system constantly. Like this thing is just constantly happening all the time. So becoming present and processing all of that by observing the body, slowing down the breath, meditating, mindfulness techniques, all of that sort of stuff will help heal that. The best anchor points to the present moment are when you focus solely on one of your senses or your breath. This temporarily brings you away from losing yourself and identifying with your busy automatic monkey mind, which is not the true you. You then have the opportunity to find that place of inner calm where you can connect to your intuition and find peace beneath the chaos. And that place within is who you really are, your essential nature, the happiness within you despite your external circumstances, the part of us that is all the same, that we're all born with, the part of us that is pure, unconditional love. And a lot of us in this world are disconnected from this beautiful inner space. And this is why meditation is so highly recommended for our overall health. So many people say, I can't meditate, my mind doesn't stop, or there's fear there to what might be hiding within us, and it's just too confronting, it's too hard. But that's the point. That's why we need to meditate. Observing your thoughts without engaging in losing yourself in those thoughts or identifying yourself with those thoughts. Observing is meditating. Going for a walk, being in nature, connecting to your senses, really, feeling the sand underneath your feet, feeling the breeze on your skin, feeling hearing the sound of running water. All of that is meditating. Listening to a song and really feeling the music within your body and your soul is meditating. Repeating a mantra to yourself is meditating, something you want to believe, like I am strong, I am worthy, I am loved, whatever that may be. There are so many guided meditations out there now too for those that need direction and something external to focus on. There is a type of meditation out there for everyone, and the benefits are life-changing. Start with 5 or 10 minutes a day if that's all you can commit to, and you will feel the difference with consistency, I promise. It's important to have a morning and evening ritual possible, if possible, or one or the other. The morning is great because it sets the tone for the day, and the evening is great because you set yourself to marinate in it as you sleep. I'll go deeper into options for this shortly. As mentioned before, mindset work takes a lifetime of practice. It's not something we can do once and then we're healed. Like going to the gym, one workout isn't enough to keep you fit and strong for your entire life. It's a lifelong commitment, like exercise and eating habits as well. Whatever you choose to do, it has to be sustainable. And with time and consistency with your daily mindset practice, you'll begin to have more and more pockets of inner stillness, and it's totally addictive. It's honestly bliss. You will find golden moments where there are no thoughts and the feeling of absolute peace. Step 2 is making it a regular daily practice to observe your thoughts and feelings as you go about your day, not just in meditation. How many of your thoughts are limiting beliefs and judgments about yourself and others? And what are your emotional triggers? I touched on this briefly earlier. When you feel emotions arise, such as discomfort, fear, anxiety, depression, anger, frustration, etc., these are beautiful opportunities to heal. In these moments, observe the physical reaction within your body with curiosity and non judgment, heart racing, breath pattern changing, heaviness in the gut or tightness in the chest, jaw clenching, going hot or cold, etc. So, observing these and allowing these things to happen without judgment, it's your body's natural ability to process trauma. So, let it happen, observe. And when you do this, instead of trying to ignore it or change it or drown it out mentally, you stop it from actually storing in your physical body and in your automatic thought programming. It loses its power over you. Observe all thoughts that arise from your ego, your pain body, your shadow self, whatever you want to call it, without judgment and with kindness and compassion. And once you give it your full focus as an observer, the energy begins to dissolve. The more intense the emotion, the longer this takes, but it may even take weeks or months of awareness depending on the severity of the situation. But this is the process of healing. And all these human emotions are not the enemy. They serve a purpose. So try not to fight them, just allow. And, from here you get to make a choice. Do you want to continue your suffering by blaming and judging yourself and others and remain the victim? Or do you want to heal? If you don't make a change in your mindset, you'll keep getting the same result. My favorite quote from Wayne Dyer, change the way you look at things and the things you look at will change. And another goodie, what you don't change, you choose. I also love Albert Einstein's quote, the definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. I remember once going through a very painful breakup that was dragging on for far too long, and I had become a toxic person to be around, and my mum set me straight. She said, you get to choose how you feel. You're the only one who can control your emotions, and right now your choice is making everyone else around you miserable. And I felt this like a slap in the face and was incredibly grumpy because I knew she was right. And the hard part, I had to admit it and take ownership of it. But this was a game changer for me. You get to choose how much power someone has over you. You get to choose how to react to a situation. You get to choose how each moment is going to define you. You have to take responsibility for your emotions. Release all shame, blame, and judgment, including of yourself. And blame, this is a big one. When we're triggered, it's an automatic response to want to blame the other person or blame yourself. To really heal, this has to stop. You have to take ownership of your perceptions and allow other people's perceptions. I know from personal experience that in the heat of the moment, this can seem impossible, especially if you're completely in the right and someone is completely in the wrong, and it seems completely unfair and ridiculous to have to be the one who has to forgive and let it go. But if you don't forgive, what do you think happens? You're giving them rent-free space in your head, but you carry them around with you wherever you go. And the longer you carry them with you, the more that poison begins to spread. Wayne Dyer liked to use the saying, it's not the snake bite that kills you, it's the poison that works its way around your body that does. Eventually, long-term judgment, blame, hate, pain from the past, it affects your physical body. It becomes part of the foundation of your thought processes, part of that 90% automatic unconscious thinking. So then it goes on to poison your current and future perceptions, damaging your relationships, jobs, opportunities, happiness, everything. So a lot of the time what we're reacting to is not actually the issue in that moment that we're reacting to. It's all that automated past reactions that's built up and make things so much more escalated than it actually is, because we didn't heal it when it first happened. It compounded. So that brings us to the next step, which is letting go. To let go, we need to practice forgiveness and acceptance of what is happening in this moment, how you are feeling, what you're thinking, where you are in life right now, whatever it may be. It is especially important to make peace and practice acceptance for everything you cannot control, too. It is a total energy waster, an extreme suffering, pain-making machine when you try to fight what you cannot control. Then forgiveness. Forgive yourself for what you are feeling, what you have done, what you have thought or said, and forgiveness for anyone else's part in your suffering and your ego-based story. It's not condoning harmful behavior. Other people still need to take ownership of their projections too. It's not brushing problems under the rug. It's not ignoring what is not acceptable. The process is awareness, observation without judgment, feeling it, acceptance and taking ownership of your part, then forgiveness and letting go. It's important to note that these negative emotions aren't something that we should strive to never feel. Every emotion serves a purpose and it's part of the process of being human. So don't demonize them when they arrive and try to squash them. To be healed and whole, we need to let go of duality and constantly labeling everything as good or bad. We need to accept and observe what is. We need to accept the process, ours and everybody else's. Release all judgment, shame, and blame of yourself and others. Trying to heal and become a better person doesn't mean hiding our shadow selves, our ego, our pain body. It means taking ownership of it, being conscious of it, letting ourselves feel it so we don't store it within, and learning from it. Perception is everything. Unfortunately, this automated way of thinking and the confines of society norms are just part of our human experience. And to some degree, we have to conform to operate in this world. But we can do it with awareness, compassion, and love. So knowing now what we believe is our truth means no one's ever really wrong, because to them, that is their belief structure, that is their reality. It's not our job to judge them or try to change them or to convince them that we're the ones that are right. That is the path that they are on, and can't we have compassion for that? How can we blame someone for what they can't see or what they don't know? I repeat this to myself a lot. Do you want to be right or do you want to be kind? Try and see the innocence in everyone and the age-old rule, treat others how you wish to be treated. And what someone else thinks of you as well is none of your business. It doesn't matter. Let it go. It's what you think of you that matters. If we think of an animal, if wounded or threatened, it will attack, even if we're trying to help it. Yet this is expected and we understand it. And why is it different for humans? We forget that we all have our trauma, varying in degrees of severity, sure, but painful nevertheless. Layers of pain changes a person. It changes the way we operate, the way we think, and naturally it creates the attack response when we feel threatened. And quite often, as I mentioned before, it's not the situation that's happening right now that we're reacting to. It's our programming. So let's try and remember this before we attack or react to an attack. Let's be kind to ourselves and others. I can go into all of what we touched on today deeper in other videos, but the purpose of this one is just to brush the surface of what is possible and share some of the tools that have helped me. And hopefully, with each mind that is opened, the world becomes a better place bit by bit. And I would love for you to continue with me on this journey. I'm not perfect. I'm still learning, and I'll keep an open mind as I evolve and grow on this journey. But right now, I'm driven to share what I feel deep down in my core is the key to ending constant, unnecessary suffering. We're not going to always be 100% happy. It's okay not to be okay. Life can be incredibly hard, but these mindset techniques can decrease the amount of time of intensity of our suffering if we are open to it. So none of what I've said today is new. It's just regurgitated information from hundreds of years of enlightened souls passing down a message. But the mission of us light workers, and you can be one too, is to keep this message alive and awaken as many souls as possible so that we can find peace on this earth. That energy force I was talking about before all connects to the collective consciousness of the universe. When you're healing yourself, when you're conscious of your actions and thoughts, and when you're sharing loving vibrations, this energy output connects to everyone else's, and you literally have the power to help change the world. You can make a difference. Everything you need to heal is already within you. You may have heard of scientific studies where harmful words are spoken to one plant and loving words are spoken to another, and the first plant dies and the second one flourishes. And there's also other studies where some monks was put in an area where the crime rate was really, really high, and they were there for, I forget the details of the study, but a period of time, and they mapped the crime rate during that time, and it dropped massively just from having that group of really enlightened souls meditating for really long periods of time. The energy in that area began to shift. There's loads of studies and woo-woo stuff like this, but that are available for those that are skeptics but need a little bit more facts. If you start looking for it, there is so much proof to what I'm saying. We need to remember as well that we are all one. We're all connected. This is what yoga means, is oneness, union, which is why I love yoga so much. Pain and suffering come from us forgetting that we're connected. Like every cell in the body that work together for the betterment of the whole, regardless of whether it's a liver cell or a muscle cell or a heart cell, they all work together. Yet if a cell goes rogue and does its own thing separate from the rest, that's what becomes cancer. War, famine, murder, hate, this is all the cancer our separateness has caused from the collective consciousness of the world. So, summing it up, what do you honestly believe is possible? Are you ready to release limiting beliefs and believe that anything is possible? That you are completely supported and guided every step of the way, that you are never alone, that we are all connected, and that choosing love is the answer? As part of your daily ritual, the powerful book, A Course in Miracles, suggests to ask God or the universe, whatever your belief system is, daily, how can I serve? What would you have me do? Where would you have me go? What would you have me say? And to who? You could also say something like, use me as a vessel to bring love and light into this world. Or a prayer like, please help me stay present and aware of my triggers so that I can choose love over fear. I am willing. I am open to see things differently. If the word God makes you squirm, then connect to whatever works for you. Higher power, universal guidance, angels, spirit guides, internal compass, intuition. The word itself doesn't matter. Saying these prayers or mantras are setting an intention and doorways to make the shift to a loving vibration, and the universe will respond. If you're not sure where to start to find your life's purpose, these mantras and prayers will help. And when we focus on serving others and operating from a place of love and not from a place of what's in it for me, you will find your way. I know it can be hard to remember to focus your thoughts when the days are so full and busy, but remember that you have a choice to check in. Set up reminders to check in. It will become easier the more you do it. One right action at a time. Daily rituals and consistency help. I like to use whenever I wash my hands as a reminder to check in and just to feel the water on my hands and take a few deep breaths and just get out of my head for a moment. Those are really beautiful check-ins. And it's something that we do many times a day. So it's really helpful. I will go into more ritual options and other stuff like that when I do my in-person events. So I would love for you to come along to dive into all of this a little bit deeper. But when you pick a ritual or a daily thing to start doing, don't try and do everything all at once, as it's too overwhelming, and then we end up just giving up. So pick one or two things that are really achievable, and once it becomes a habit, step by step, you can add more when you feel ready. If you're feeling resistance to a daily ritual though, and it feels like a chore, just adding to all the other millions of things that you have to do, and you can't shift from that perception, then you may not be ready. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's okay. Pick something that helps you heal, brings you peace, that isn't too challenging. And when it's time, you'll know, you'll be ready. Usually we wait until there's something really major in our life, like a diagnosis or a loss in the family or something like that, to suddenly go, I can't keep living like this. Something has to change. And that's when we start investing in ourselves. But we don't have to wait to these massive low points in our lives to actually make a difference. You can better yourself. Shouldn't say that there's anything wrong with you right now, so bettering yourself is probably not the right word, but you can do this to get the best out of your day, out of your life. Right now, you don't have to wait. I will also put up a book list on my recommended book list on my social media as well, of all the incredible spiritual guides and mentors that have helped me on my journey. If you want to look into more of this stuff as well, they're so powerful and it's just been absolutely life-changing. So to finish, remember, life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. We are not humans having an occasional spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. You are the observer of your thoughts, not your thoughts. Your thoughts are programming. Just a few things to remember. So if any of this resonates with you and you want to know more, please let me know what you would like to learn more of and come along to some of my events. I would absolutely love feedback from any of my YouTube videos, any of the message that I put it up on social media. I would love to hear from you. Thank you for listening to my rambling. Thank you. Thank you. Namaste.